Hold on. We might be working. We are working. All right. Audio is there. It's not the greatest, don't get me wrong, but it's here. So, we have a stream. My laptop is going to start dying. My audio is going to be terrible. I'm sorry. Please get over it. So, I don't know if this is actually what I really want to work on right now for making something. This is the RMB 93. It's a Russian shotgun. It's a Russian combat shotgun. It is a pump forward shotgun where the entire barrel and foregrip pumps forward and then backwards. It's kind of similar into the vein of like a pump action shotgun. Not a pump action, sorry. One of those like slam fire pipe shotguns, but it doesn't slam fire when you shoot it. So for right now, this is relatively legal in the grand scheme of things. I've tried to incorporate like a lot of working features in it and everything. The only like current problem, I was working on the loading gate last night thinking it loaded like a regular loading gate does. It doesn't. It's this top hinge door thing that opens up and closes, which I don't really want to mess with. Like I'm looking at it right now and I'm still like, ooh, I just really don't want to do that. This retains my standard magazine tube fed shotgun kind of system that uses the old style of brackets that fit 2x2 cylinder pieces inside of them. Pretty standard method that I've kind of used at this point to kind of like load shells into a shotgun in a 2x2 place, and then I did a 3-wide barrel system down here with a 4-wide neck up spot where it starts to tie into the actual pump foregrip thing going forward. So yeah, I don't really know if I really want to work on this right now. I'm thinking about working on something else. I don't know what, but something else. So, while we work on getting this open, don't know if it's opened or not. Can't really tell. It might have, but I'm not really sure. I might have just crashed Studio. This is part of the reason I wanted to live stream to my phone and not use the laptop for live streaming. But my laptop is dying, clearly. Like, I want to say Studio just started beach balling Monday. So while that kind of thinks about what it wants to do, oh, open. So while we kind of look at this for a little bit now, I just want to get a couple things out the way. First and foremost, unofficial drink sponsor of the channel, PepsiCo Mountain Dew. Always got to be PepsiCo Mountain Dew. One of my favorite things in the world. Unofficial, I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just drink a lot of Mountain Dew. This is my second one today, which is honestly not a lot. I'm used to drinking 3 or 4 of these in a day. So, Code Red, good flavor. Red Dye 40 kills me, but Code Red is one of their better flavors. All right. Second drink of tonight. For those of you who are under the age of 21, please plug your ears. I will be drinking this. This is brand new to me. This is a week old, and I've already drank a bit of it. It was up to here at the top. This is Caribbean Moonshine. This is from a local company. I just found out about them, and this is their spiced rum. This is 40% alcohol by volume. So definitely more of a Caribbean moonshine than a rum. This is premium spiced rum. This is the first time that I've had a spiced rum that is awesome. I will be drinking this straight because of how good it is. Hello, Ultimist. The reason that I like this a lot is right here on the back. It's premium spiced rum infused with flavors of allspice, clove, nutmeg, vanilla, and caramel with a cinnamon finish. So the spices that actually went into this are warm. They fit this time of year really, really well. And because of that, I will be partaking in some of this. This is very good. I have been on standby for the past week, so I have not been able to actually drink. Not that I really want to, but it's an option available to me as a grown man at this point. I'm fucking 27 nowadays. It's crazy how much time flies. Man, it's just... This alone, this one flavor made me go to their store location, which is not too far from me, to buy bottles. And I don't usually do that. I usually only get like 1 or 2 bottles from a place. No, I've now bought 3 more from this place. I have like 4 bottles in total from this one place. So this is by far their best flavor. They only have 6 flavors in total. They have a coconut, a passion fruit, an orange, a peanut butter, a banana. I'm missing one. And the spiced. I don't think I said the spiced in there. Spiced is by far their best flavor. And then we bought peanut butter, banana, and orange, and all 3 of those bottles are sitting over like on my liquor shelf because of how like just good it was. It's so good. All right, so just as a little bit of a rundown for what you guys are currently looking at, in case you don't really know what you're looking at. I call this an operator case. An operator case is a case that an operator would use to transport their weapons and supplies around with them. So I've been leaning toward trying to like build one of these for this fictional unit that I have on the top of my head. Lore-wise, this fictional unit is called Starpath. So if you're looking in that kind of top left-hand corner where it says operator case, it says Starpath. Elite, because this is a bigger case. I built one prior to this for a squad leader that was only the top and bottom. And then I was like, yeah, I kind of want to fit more in it. So we're working on fitting more in it now. This fictional unit is basically just Blue Jay Industries as like a private military corporation. We're kind of moving into like Atlas territory from Advanced Warfare. Not that I really want Blue Jay Industries to be like super evil and everything, but like lore-wise, I'm just kind of, that's where I'm kind of going with this, is that Blue Jay Industries is like the parent company that designs weapons, and then they had to expand to space for like some of the materials that go into these weapons, because like these rifles use really rare earth metals to function and do what they need to do. So I was thinking like just, well, we could do asteroid mining and everything like that. So kind of a little bit of Gundam inspiration going on with like colony fighting and things like that in space. So I wanted to design an operator case specifically for those people, and this is kind of where we're at now with the case. So yeah, there's a lot here. I know it's like a little foggy because there's glass on top of it, but this is the AK-105 Honey Buzzard. This is the upgraded version of the Precursor Beluga and the Perfected Beluga. It's basically those two rifles and a little bit of extra like tacked on top of it. Yeah, my laptop's dying. I should look for like my headphone plug-in and then just plug in my headphone to it, and then just use my headphones to speak to the mic. Hold on. To it. Yeah, okay. My voice isn't too bad though. It's there, but you can still hear me. I was kind of worried that the fans would be like above my voice and you wouldn't be able to hear me. So the Honey Buzzard has like a couple different changes to it, so I've included it in this model. It's retained a little bit of both back and forth from the Perfected and the Precursor Beluga, and I added a couple more things to it. So I was kind of pushing for the standardized holographic sight with the magnifier to it. That was like what I was pushing for. With the PEC box and an optional flashlight. I've included the holographic and the magnifier right here. Here's the PEC box already on the rifle, and the foam insert is set up for that. The optional flashlight is here. I want to say most of that is all Zenico stuff. I'd have to look at the file names again just to make sure. And then just to kind of fill in a little bit of the space that I had, because I had some space but not a lot, I went with a Zenico thermal sight, so that's been included, and then the Cobra red dot sight that like Battlefield has just made so famous. I've also included that on here as well. So there's like some flexibility in the sighting systems for the weapon itself. I've included spare batteries for the electronic components on the rifle here. There's like 4 of them. I've only put the one on here, but it has enough room for 4 stacked vertically. I've included a cleaning kit. That cleaning kit consists of 2 different size brushes, punches, an extension for the handle rod, and then oil in one container and solvent in the other container, because there's a suppressor on this rifle and it's going to build up like crazy. So you're going to need to clean that in some way, shape, or form. So lore-wise, it already breaks down for maintenance anyways. You just need to be able to like get in there and do something about it. I've also included the full combat loadout for magazines. So Precursor Beluga and Perfected Beluga ran 30-round magazines. I bumped that up to 40 because 40 rounds is better than 30. I retained the same number of magazines in total though. So it's 9 magazines in total. So 9 times 4. 9 times 2 is 18, so that's going to be 360 rounds worth of ammunition just in the 30 rounds itself. I have also included one of the 120 round box magazines that feed into the Emperor Goose RPK version of this rifle series. That's an excellent question, and I do not remember. I would have to go look. Damn, that sucks. I'd have to look. I don't remember. I've included the 100 round, 120 round RPK magazine on this. I don't think I've really designed this weapon to take, a 120 round magazine dump of like super high velocity Sabo projectiles. That's kind of what the Emperor Goose is for, like, with a heavier barrel that would be able to kind of handle this. But I do think that there is some merit to members of the squad carrying backups for other people as well. So if like the squad leader carries a 100-round mag, and then the co-squad leader, I always forget what they're called. I'd have to go look up the charts again for Ranger squads. Like if each person in the 9, I think 8 people is the lowest that make up a squad, up to like 12. So like if 8 people in the group all carried 100-round magazines, 120 rounds. Sorry, I keep forgetting it's 120. 12 times 8 is a large amount of ammunition that you're carrying around on the field, just on those guys alone. Plus, obviously, the RPK gunner himself is going to carry more than just one magazine plus what's in the rifle itself. So I kind of wanted to build in a little bit of redundancy there. So you can kind of see that that's what's going on in this layer. I have a little bit of room to do something with. I don't exactly know what I'm going to put there yet. I've been trying to keep this particular section just the primary weapon, to kind of break these up a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to continue to be that way. So if we hide this, though, we're going to go down to the lower section. The lower section is split in half between 2 different ones. So you have the explosives side, and then you also have the pistols side. I originally, let's just start with the explosives, because the explosives are far easier to understand. The explosives specifically came straight from the previous operator case that I made for this. I've literally copy and pasted them straight over, because the cases are the same size, so I'm able to do that. 2 claymores, 2 frag grenades, 2 stun grenades, and 4 EMP grenades. This is the future. Electronic warfare would be a thing, so I've included the EMP grenades in foresight to all of that. The claymores, the EMP grenades, and the flashbang stun grenades are all modeled after the ones that you see inside of Rainbow Six Siege. So they're something that I've had for a while, ever since I kind of started operator cases with Rainbow Six Siege. When I started Sledge was the first operator case that I ever did. His entire loadout was included in that. So that's basically the explosives. Would you carry all of that with you? I think so. Keep in mind that this is futuristic to a certain degree. Like, space colonies are a thing at this time. Asteroid mining is a thing on this time, lore-wise. So you're in space. Things don't weigh anything in space. You're weightless. So I don't think it would be that big of a deal to like include having all of the explosives on the operator doing this. I also think in corridor fighting in colonies that claymores, frag grenades, flashbangs, and EMP grenades would all be very vital to the operation. So like if you are entering a building that has a whole bunch of different corridors to it, and you're trying to clear one specific corridor and it branches off at one point, setting a claymore to kind of watch your back a little bit, kind of handy. Running into some type of turret or drone that's set up, EMP grenade, kind of handy. Drones, or now in 2024, almost 2025, have drastically changed how the battlefield works. So being able to chuck EMP grenades out there is going to be vital. So, like, having 4 kind of put onto each member of the squad, 4 times 8 is going to be 24. So having 24 of those would be pretty substantial to the operation. So I've included all of that here, kind of in the expectation that he's probably going to equip himself with quite a bit of it. So then we'll move over to the pistols and the knife. Combat knife, I'm kind of using old school Soviet era stuff. And I shouldn't even say old school. We're going to say just Russian equipment for a lot of this. So for the knife, it's the NRS-2. It is not the one that shoots a bullet. That's kind of a gimmick, and it's not something that I really wanted to include on this. It is just the knife with the multi-function sheath on it, for cutting like wire and stuff like that, with a bottle opener on it. Like, I've included that part of it, but I'm not including the shooting part. I don't really think that we need to include the shooting part on this. Gun knife, I'm good. So I originally built the Grouse, the MP443 Grouse, which is this thing up here. It's got a compensator on it, and instead of a suppressor for shorter overall length, easier to draw from the holster. And then I've included the OKP-12, which is a Russian kind of style of red dot. It's a little weird how it's like projected. And then I included a light on the underside so that you could use it in low light settings. So, you know, your main runs dry, so you just drop it, you draw your grouse, and you go into a room so that you have something. I didn't really spend a lot of time working with the grouse to get it where I wanted. So at the time, the base plate extension, I didn't really like the look of. The kind of overall profile, I didn't really like the look of, and the colors just didn't like vibe with the rifle set that I had. So I ended up kind of saying I want to restart. So I actually built a completely brand new MP443, so a second generation, known as the Siberian Crane. So that's what's down here in this bottom left-hand corner. What kind of separates the two of them is that the Siberian Crane is electronically controlled for its fire rate. So the operator is capable of setting single shot, semi-automatic, burst fire, and their bursts can change depending on what they want, or full auto, and then the fire rates of full auto and burst can also be changed based on what the user wants. So this little yellow module down here at the bottom includes the round counter on it, because that's kind of been a staple of a lot of the stuff, as I want round counters to be on these things. And then on the bottom side is a screen, and there's dials and adjustments on it that is slightly modeled after the Mark 23 laser aiming module that came with the Mark 23 from H&K, so that those dials are there so that you can adjust things as you feel. So you can have 3-round burst that shoots, super slow at 200 something rounds per minute, or you could be like, oh, well, I just want to dump all 18 rounds out of the magazine in the fastest burst I possibly can. So you do one trigger pull and it just dumps all 18. So that's kind of the idea for the Siberian Crane. I've extended the frame out longer so that the compensator is built into it. I've kept the OKP-12 for your aiming, and I've also kind of helped remold the grip a little bit so that it's got some of the rubber stylizings that the AK-105s do. So that's everything with the bottom and the middle. Top-wise, it gets a little bit more complicated. And part of the reason it gets a little bit more complicated is because I'm not technically done with what comes up here in the top. I'm kind of designing these to be non-universal. I'm trying to design these to be more operator specific. So what the squad leader carries is going to be vastly different than what the machine gun person is going to carry. Like the machine gun person is going to carry the Emperor Goose, not the Honey Buzzard. I really want to include a shotgun. RMB 93 is going to be that shotgun. I just haven't finished building it. I need to finish building it to work on the inside part of this because that's where it's going to go. I also want to include the Baikal Seal. That's the GP25 standalone version so that it doesn't have to be undermounted to the rifle itself. I experimented slightly with undermounting the GP25 to the Honey Buzzard, and it didn't go well. It looks ugly. Part of the reason it looks ugly is because the GP25 is short, stout, and sweet, and mine is pretty accurate to its real-life counterpart, and the Honey Buzzard is long. Which is ironic because I built the Honey Buzzard and both Belugas on the AK-105, which is the shortened version of the AK-100 series, and it's still long because I slapped a suppressor unit on the end of it that is just beef in bulk, but looks good at the same time. So that all of that said is basically to say I can't work on the inside part of this until I have the outline of the shotgun that I'm putting on it done, and the Baikal Seal is technically done. But I want to get the shotgun done so that I can put them in and kind of see where they line up and go from there. Now, all of that said, what I really kind of want to work on right now is the backside of this. And okay, all right, it's weird to want to work on this because it's not. So now then, let's show all, and we're gonna see if we can rotate it. And if I rotate it and then work on it flat and then rotate it back up, if it goes back into the position where I need it to go. So if I do this and then I press the down arrow key, it should rotate flat. And if I press the up arrow key, does it go back to where it needs to? It does. Okay, so we're going to rotate it down into its position where it needs to be, and then we'll hide the other two spots so that we don't have to look at them. And that's it. All right, so now, something that I included on the previous version of this that I haven't integrated over here yet. I really want there to be some type of auto loader. And on the previous one, there are storage spots in the case for another full combat load of ammunition. So I'd have to look at the numbers on it. I could open it real quick, I think. I should have it here, because this is the old one, because it doesn't have Elite in the title. Forgive me, I have not eaten much today in the way of any type of meaningful food. So bear with me on this one. Point being, I want to include storage space in this for ammunition that is not already loaded into magazines, so that if for whatever reason you get like stuck in your combat zone, as long as you can get back to your case you could reload your magazines to full so that you have them. I kind of just a little bit experimented with maybe doing like a 3D printed type of deal, and I kind of wanted to go into like doing that with like the RPD and everything. Um, I just it didn't look the way I wanted it to, so I kind of paused that project for now. I don't know if I want to include like this whole attachment 3D printer kind of factory thing to it for ammunition. I don't know. What I want to work on is storage space for another entirely full combat load of ammunition, and then some way that it kind of just makes sense that you can like put a magazine in and it spits it out with all the ammunition in it. So on the previous generation of cases, what I ended up doing is down here, you can see one here, and one here. We have little doors. And if we hide these doors, it's going to reveal a couple different things. That's not at all where I clicked, but that's fine. So if we zoom in, here's the, wow, I said 4mm. They're not 4mm, they're 40mm. You know, I'm almost positive they're 40mm, but I'm not sure now because I feel like I looked it up before I typed it. But anyhow, here are the reserve grenade launcher rounds. So I figured redundancy, like I said before, even in this version of the squad leader, the previous version, the old one, he would not be carrying the Baikal Seal GP25. Someone else would be carrying it. But even though someone else is carrying it, I figured he would carry ammunition with him. So I included 6 rounds of that he would have on his chest rig or pouch or wherever it would go. If I knew how to draw better, I would draw all this out, combat suit-wise, but I fucking suck at drawing, so it's not going to happen. I also included full reserve rounds for being able to refill the grouse with all of the rounds. So it's 120 rounds total, would refill all the magazines of the grouse. Not very many magazines in total. It's only 4 in reserve and then 1 in the gun. So not hard. And what I ended up doing is putting these ones on stripper clips. So these stripper clips are modeled pretty similarly. They're modeled in joint conjunction with reverse engineering the ones that my different username used on a lot of his models. So it's the modified plate pieces with a little bit of a ledge, and then there's like some type of small rim that the round locks into going onto it. So I put these ones on stripper clips. It works because they're thin, you know, they're 9x19, so it's not like the biggest things in the world. I attempted to do the same thing for the rifle rounds. Didn't look good, so I switched to simply doing loose rounds and ended up doing this, what you can see here, which is basically like, I'm not going to say individually placing, but I almost individually placed every single one of these. I kind of staggered these just a little bit to kind of make it so that they look, you know, decent. They look straight and neat-ish. It took a lot of work. So that's like, on the old one, that's what I did. Now that's where like you would pick them up, like you would grab a handful of it, right? So let's say we're going through a scenario where your magazines are completely empty. You need to reload every single one of them. It's going to take you forever to sit there and thumb rounds into a magazine, and after the 3rd or 4th one, you're going to be fucking done. You're not going to want to do any of that anymore. So on this one, towards the end of the project, I got super lazy, and what I ended up doing for an autoloader is like in my brain saying, Well, if the magazines just go in here, up here at the top, then this little window here, you would just shove rounds into it, and internally there's going to be mechanisms that rotate them around so that they're facing the right way, and then start putting them into magazines. And it's got an Arduino or something on the inside of it, some type of programmable logic controller PLC that will be like, oh, this magazine has 29, so it only needs one, and it moves one over, and then like a little servo with something that pushes it down into the magazine. And then it would like read every single magazine to let you know like which ones need what. So if they're all empty, every single one of them is going to get 30 rounds, no big deal. But if some of them are partially filled, it's going to have, it pushes down on it, and it's like, oh, the resistance is telling me that there's this many rounds in it, and it pushes more until it tops off those magazines. So that's like my original thought for how to like reload the rifle magazines. Now, on this case and everything, I shoved everything together and didn't have like a whole bunch of stuff for it. And a negative side effect of that is it's here. On the new case, I wanted to give everything a lot of room. That's part of the reason I made it bigger and made drawers on bottom of it so that you can add more stuff to it and it doesn't feel so like just cramped. The problem with that is I haven't really considered where to put any spare combat loads of ammunition, like loose ammunition just laying around. So I think about this a lot when I'm like trying to go to sleep. Like I go to sleep with stuff like this. So what I ended up finally kind of thinking about is I've got the middle section where the honey buzzard is. I've got the top section that you open up like a tackle box where the R&B 93 is going to be. I don't know its code name yet. I'll look up Russian animals in a little bit whenever I get done here to like figure out what it's called. And the Baikal seal is going to be in the top. All of the ammunition for the shotgun and the Baikal seal are going to be included there because it should be. The pistols no longer have room inside of their case for spare ammunition because I just shoved 2 pistols in like a small container, and I put all of their magazines, and like getting their magazines loaded up in there was more difficult than what you really think. Plus the knife. And then I don't want to put it in explosives. Like it just doesn't feel right to be like, hey, where's the ammunition at? And then you're like, oh yeah, where all the bombs are, and you open it up. Like it just doesn't feel right to me. So I don't want to build another like accordion style of door, right? I just don't think I really need it for strictly ammunition. So what I'm thinking instead is on top of the lid, which is what we're looking at, where this kind of line is right here, we build it up like just a little bit. As we start building here in a second, you guys will see what I'm talking about as we go. So I've kind of explained the thought process and everything going forward, and now we're actually going to start building. I'm a little long-winded. I apologize. Thank you for sticking around. Yeah, I'll open this, but I have not. So a crew member of mine today was very generous and actually bought the crew food, the entire crew. It cost him like $60 because he went to Publix and he picked up a couple boxes of wings with different sauces. He did 2 full things of King's Hawaiian rolls, lemonade, sweet tea, like just good food. I do not eat chicken on the bone, so I did not eat chicken. I let the crew do their thing, and I kind of just ate a whole bunch of bread. So I know bread is carbs, but that was at like 2 o'clock and it's almost 8. That's kind of all I've eaten today. I don't really eat breakfast, and I haven't sat down to eat dinner. I don't have anything in there to eat dinner with. I think I might have something frozen that I can pick up and eat, but I kind of got excited to stream, so we're streaming. So build-wise, we're going to go ahead and start. We are on top floor, so we need to edit this specifically. And then I'm slowly getting used to the whole everything is a submodel building thing. I'm actually doing pretty good at it. Like it's easier than I thought it was going to be to get good at it. So this is studio. I have no fucking concern for not being able to actually like attach this to anything. I don't give a fuck anymore. So I'm just going to switch this bracket up so that it's facing up, and then we're going to find the brick modified maybe that's got an angle on it that would match this. It might be in brick. Nope, it's right here. This thing. So that it somewhat matches. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. And then we're going to face this back down to where it was for its small amount of detail. And then we'll do the same thing here. Flip that up. Grab this. Control C. Flip this. Boom. Yeah, boy, howdy, is it going to be fun streaming this and building at the same time. Put that back down. Slap that back in there. All right, now, there is, I'm just realizing, right, so if I don't have, what's a small file that I can open to grab that from? Let's just open the Honey Buzzard. I think I have a 545 by 39 act round laid out to the side, I think. So I do. So we're going to grab, yeah, we're just going to grab one of these. It doesn't really matter. Wait, is one of them straight? I think they're both straight. And we'll switch back over, and it's going to take a while to load because the Elite Operator case currently has like north of like 30,000 pieces in it. Like it's a lot of pieces. Yeah, it kind of hates me. I need a better computer. I just talked to my wife about this because I told her I wanted to live stream today. And I told her I was a little worried because, you know, my laptop is getting old. All right, so if we slap this in here, right? So I kind of want to build this box that kind of fits the overall theme and aesthetic of the case. So the case has these bumps and ridges on it that's a little bit, you know, out there. I swear that's still not going to be big enough. Here's the biggest one of these. So if we put one here and we put one here, right? And then we just delete these bottom two small ones. And we do this. This is kind of where I want to go with it. And they're just super simple, like straight line down to the other side. And then make the other side kind of mirror match this, right? That's kind of where I want to go. Now, the question I was going to have is there any way to neatly wrap up how this looks? Like this would kind of be a perfect-esque. It's a little too much of a dome for what I want to do with it. Like I kind of want to do. Let's go to wedge. See if we can find something in wedge. That's 4 studs. Don't we have the 4x4 real flat these things? Okay, so those fit technically. Is there any other thing in here that would also work? That gives me a little bit more flexibility. No. Now, just in case, we can go check windshield. Because sometimes there is an uniquely shaped piece in here that could also be considered. That's unique. I don't think I've seen that one before. I also don't come down here like super often. Like, I wanted it to be cleaner than that. Isn't there? Yeah, that's the taller version of it. There's another interestingly shaped windscreen. I don't even know where half of these things come from. So this is a pretty unique angle. And the problem with unique angles is being able to find solutions for closing them up the way I need to. Because I don't want it to be like super tall. I could also, the case is relatively flat as is, so in like cleaning it up wise could just come down to placing these tiles in place on these. I think it's literally just doing this, and this, followed by 1, 2, 3, and then we grab a tile here and come across. And the save on piece count, not like it really matters because of how big this is anyways. We place this here. Now, connected wise, obviously it's not fucking connected to anything, and I honestly do not give a fuck. I'm so past giving a shit about things being connected. My curiosity at this point now comes down to there's 9 total magazines in the gun. I'm looking at my phone. My phone is up here. Math-wise, you have 40 round magazines, 9 in total, 9 times 4. I just did the math for this and I've already forgotten. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 and 18 makes 36. So you've got 3, I need to put 360 rounds in this thing, right? So the way that I did this before is I pressed copy and mirror, and then I spent so much time fucking dying, like hating my life. This is what I had to do. And then we came back, and then we zoomed in. Like this until that happened, basically. All right, so then we grab this, and we kind of look at these two things and we say like, right about there-ish is the middle. So if we do view, orientation, and then we hit top, it's gonna like truly give me the top-down perspective on this. So if we grab this and we grab this and we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 would touch the thing, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is where we originally started. So if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So then we need to go up one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up 1. So that's centered. As close as accurately, like with my eyes being able to look at it, it's as close as I can get it just by looking at it, right? So now then, there's no way we're fitting 360 ones of these across here, right? There's no way that's going to happen. So then we have choices to make. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So if we press this and we say copy and mirror, I get a top one. Okay. Fuck. It got more complicated because I switched one facing the other way. Because now I'm just, instead of just saying copy and mirror, copy and mirror, copy and mirror, where it just lays them out side by side all the way down, I'm now going to have to like figure this out. Like if we press copy and mirror, I can at least bring these 4 down. Like so. Okay. So then I'm going to have to grab this and grab this. And we're going to use the little tits that stick out the sides to line these up. I think that's good. And we just kind of move these over. So right about there. So now we have 4 out of 360. So if I do, can I do like this? Still goes on top. Okay. So then we press move to move this over. And then we use the down arrows to go down. Zoom in to use the nubs to kind of line it up. So right about there. So now we're up to 8 in total. 6, 7, 8. And then we do the same thing. We press copy and mirror. And then we hit move. Move this over. Move it down. Like I said, I had to do this with the other one, where basically I had to get it all set up, and it was easier because they were all facing kind of the same direction. So at some point, like, you don't have to worry about it or anything. But this one, yeah, this one, I fucked up on. But by putting them alternating, it looks a little bit nicer than putting them all together the same way, and it saves some room, just enough that fit maybe like 1 or 2 more rounds in. Definitely not a lot. So we're currently up to 16. So if we hit this, that'll make 32. Move this down. Move this down. Zoom in. Push down. Push down. Push over. Right there. So, respawn to. Press live. Yeah, so now we're back to counting again. I think it's somewhere over here. I think we might get like 1 more row in, and I might have to delete some off of it. Yeah, so we're up to 32. So when we sorry, press the wrong thing. So when we grab this, press this, and then press this, we can press this button, and we can start moving this all down. Moving it on down. And that lines up there. All right, so that's 64, right? So if we show all the rest, we can see that we're fucking way over. Holy shit. Okay, so I think here-ish we get out of that. And we might be able to put like 1 in there depending on how this goes, but like we're fuck. Oh my god, like we're so fucked. Like that is way less than I was expecting. So we might have to do like ribs for his pleasure and my pleasure down the rest of this. So fuck me. Well, let's grab this and kind of get it out of the way so that I can kind of line this up a little bit better. We'll grab just a tile that doesn't have anything on top of it to make this a little bit easier. And then what we'll do is we'll switch this to rubber blue because I don't think I have anything on this that's a rubber blue. And then we'll do 2. Boom, 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 boom. Select by color, rubber blue, Control C, Control V. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Alright, and now I think maybe a 4 will do it. Tile by 4. Select by color. Control C, Control V. Flip this around. Bring this on over. Slap that into there. Grab these 2 things right here and just delete those for right now because we shouldn't need them. Alright, so we have a little bit of a lip. I want to say we have a little bit of a lip on the inside. We have a little bit of lip, so that's lined up, that's centered. Nothing too special about having to fix any of that. I grab that. That disappeared. Grab this. Control C, Control V. And because I have this end, come on down to here. Slap that in. Grab this. Delete. Delete. Grab this. Delete. Delete. Copy. here. Put this one back through here. Go back on over. Grab these two things. Place here. We're going to do a 1x4 followed by a 1x3. Select by color, rubber blue, and switch to bright light orange so that it matches everything else. That'll make the selection process easier. So now this is the room that I have to work with, right? Now I have a couple of choices. We're going to return to the main bottle so that we can kind of get a view on this, right? So if I show all, it's going to show how thick this would look. After I get done lining it out. It's not going to show how thick it is because I'm terrible at lining things up. But so we could probably go higher with it to kind of get the proportions right. I don't want it to be too skinny, but I also don't want it to be super tall. So I'm thinking that we go higher with it. So let's go ahead and hide this, go back to V, click on this, press edit, and then we zoom back in on this part. So right now, select by color, L, select by color, L. If we take a look at this, from point A to point B is 41 rounds of ammunition. So let's say you want to do 360 is the number that we settled on, right? So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 and 16 makes 32. So that's like 8. Yeah, 8 rows. No, 8 rows makes 32. And then I need to go another 40 makes 9. 4 times 9 is 36. So I need 9 fucking rows of ammunition. That's gonna be so tall. Holy shit. Fuck. No, that's not gonna work. So we might do ribbed all along the edge. So we might do like one here. I should do the end, right? I should move this over to the end. So I should grab all of this, right? And should 1000% move it all this way. And hopefully not have like anything that I want to grab. And then we'll use the ends of this and the ends of this lined up on this plate here to kind of recenter it. Zoom in on this. Two more. That'll be centered back on where it needs to be, technically. Alright, so if I do one there, I skip one of the ridges and then I do another ridge here. And we divide that. We're technically running 4 and 4, but I'm still going to have a row down that doesn't have everything in it that I need on it, which kind of sucks, like immensely. And this is only one layer here, right? So if we do select by color, LVAD, select by color, LVAD, LVis, press V, grab all of this. All right, so I want to make this easy on myself. So we grab all the fucking, just the bullets, help me out, just the bullets. Thank you. No, fuck. I need to straighten this out a little bit. Grab all of this, just the bullets. We press L, press V, come back down. We grab just this, and we press C. We turn this over, line this up, and this will lock into the bottom, and that'll make it as, I think that's as tall as I really want it, other than like the stuff on top to make it look somewhat pretty, if I make it look somewhat pretty. Now, we press show all, it'll pop back up. Obviously, that's phasing into one another, so what we're going to do is we're going to select by color. We're going to grab the green and make it disappear, grab this, make it disappear, select by color, and now we have our stopping point. So then we just start lifting all of this up, and we start closing it back down, and then that touches down, so that's exactly where that needs to be. All right, so now then, that's what the top would look like, right? And it would be flat. So if just for shits and giggles, right, there's a new slope piece in here, right? Let's grab orange so that I don't fuck up the color schemes. It's this long piece in here. This one right here, right? And it's a 3. So I'm kind of thinking like if we put this right there, do it like here maybe, right? Kind of looks a little better, right? We're gonna play with this, okay? I'm not fully committed just yet on this. We're gonna save this while we have the opportunity, because that would suck. That's good. All right. The math in my head is still fucking me royally. Like I'm still suffering to do math. Oh my gosh. Trey, man. What's going on? Oh man, like right now, really good. And also like really bad. Like there's a lot going on. So you can probably see behind me, things are a little different. I bought a house. This year. Buying a house is a big deal. So that's like number one. Number two, buying a house, mortgage is expensive. So kind of broke. So there's like that, like good and bad, right? Buying the house, was able to buy a house because I had a good enough down payment. Had a good enough down payment because my dad and my grandfather died, and they left me money. At least enough for a down payment. Then they leave me like a whole bunch. But it's like, it goes back and forth. Like there's good and then there's bad. There's good and then there's bad. Yeah, I don't really have a choice at this point. Like I'm married, so I kind of have to. Like I gotta get through it at this point. I don't have a choice, like I said. So I've been having. I gotta be careful what I say because there are people at work who know about my YouTube channel. Now I doubt very seriously that they're watching, but there are people who know about it. So in the event that for whatever reason they end up watching this at some point, I have to be somewhat careful. I have been having some issues with management at work. Not all of management, just one person in particular. And because of that, I shouldn't say because of that, because it's not really because of that. But I should be perfect. I think that splits up. Yes, it does. I shouldn't say because of that. I was given the opportunity to move from reporting to one yard to reporting to another yard, in joint conjunction with the fact that this is going to help me in my career later on down the line, and the fact that me and one of my superiors do not get along in management. I have taken the move. I will be reporting to a completely different location now that is far away from this house. We bought this house in particular because of its location, because it's 5 minutes from where I currently work, and now I'm going to be moving like 30 minutes to 35 minutes away from where I work. So that's like, it's going to be an adjustment period and everything, but at the same time, it's nice that I'm taking a breath of fresh air away from this person that I don't exactly get along with like the best. So it helps a little bit. I don't know if I would get back into the Lego stuff, and like the main reason for that is like it's kind of dying. It's a lost art at this point, and they're not like not profitable, but I don't think people really give much of a shit anymore. Is like I guess the nicest way I could say that. Um, in the sense that like if you're not making tutorials on whatever it is that you just built, the the big audience retainers aren't gonna be there, which sucks like royally. Like I wish people were more like super invested into just seeing cool things, but they're not. Like they're so much more. They're so much more concerned with, oh well, when are you gonna release a video for it again? Like oh yeah, you know this is a cool thing, but are you gonna make a tutorial for it? And then you're like, no, I'm not. And then they're like, yeah, well, you know, I'm not that interested. Then, like, call me back when you make a tutorial for it. So, a little bit, yeah. But at the same time, I have also considered selling out, like, so fucking hard. Because when you're trying to live your life, right, you're trying to afford nicer things, like $35 bottles of Caribbean moonshine, right? And a $2,600 a month mortgage payment. At some point, you say, fuck it. I no longer give a fuck. I will sell my soul to whatever sponsor comes my way. I will shield them hard, because if it pays the bills and I don't have to pick up a shovel anymore, I don't care. I don't care. If I didn't work the amount of overtime that I currently work, and I had a better streaming setup than what I currently have now, just adjust that a little bit, I would have sold out a long time ago. I'd be making tutorials for like every gun that I have. People aren't going to be able to build them because I've stopped building legal things like 4 years ago. But it would be funny as hell to watch people be like, "Oh, well, thanks for the tutorial," and then they get halfway through and they're like, "I can't fucking build this. Like, what the fuck? Like, why is this brick clipping into another brick? You're stacking cylinders on top of cylinders, but there's no studs connections." Like, it'd be super funny. So, Jim, like, putting out tutorials, I 100% understand. And at this point, like, I get it. Jim also has, like, this younger audience that is still retained through him and all. Yeah, you definitely need to get back into your music, because your music was good. Beyond the Crypt was good. I have considered it. I don't usually watch like a whole bunch of. I watch YouTube content. I just don't usually watch like popular YouTube content. And then CoffeeZilla just released his investigation into CS:GO gambling, and that's something that I'm a little bit more interested in than his crypto stuff. The crypto scams are like pretty easy to kind of understand. Like a lot of times, people come up with the coin, they start the coin, they have some type of money in the coin, people invest in the coin, and then just pull everything out stock wise because the coin rate has gone up. Like rug pulling, that's kind of easy for me to understand. The CS:GO lottery one, I've always kind of recognized that CS:GO like case openings and everything, and the whole casinos that are like involved with it. Like I've always recognized that that's a scummy business practice and everything. But now that there's an expose going on with it, I'm like way more invested in it. Point being, the people that CoffeeZilla interviewed in part 2 of that series, because I've only seen part 2 and part 1. I haven't seen the last video in the series because I think it's only going to be a 3-part series. Were like coming so close to basically saying, I understand it's wrong, but I make so much money on it, I don't care. I'm the type of person to tell you, I don't give a fuck. Like, if I'm making 6 figures a year, some of these people are making 7 figures a year because of something that, I'm not going to speak to the legality of it, but something that isn't being regulated. There's loopholes somewhere in here. Fuck it, man. Like, that's 7 figures a year. Like, you think I would be suffering on a 2008 MacBook Air? Like, the specs on this thing are terrible. You can hear the fucking fans running in the background, and that's with external fans plugged into it. Like, I would have a completely different setup. I wouldn't be working as hard and shit like that because I sold my soul. Now you had to sell your soul to do it. And there used to be a part of me that said I would never sell my soul. Emphasis on used to be, because now with the amount of money that is just in these industries, it's just too much money to like not sell your fucking soul at this point. Like, it would be, it's stupid to not shell out and just be like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna be an influencer and I'm going to attempt to avoid like every controversy that I ever can, right? I want to say that a good example of this is Charlie, Most Critical, Pin 10, right? And the reason I'm using him is because, for the most part, he has avoided a lot of the negative publicity that has sunk other people tremendously, right? For the most part. As a YouTuber, he has not been caught up in scams. He has been caught up in controversy in the past and has admitted to his faults and is wrong. Has not put out terrible apology videos. He has not shown dead bodies in a suicide forest. He has made money in the industry to do what he likes. He has his own band. He has his own house. He's able to afford living comfortably. He pays for esports teams that he actively loses money on because esports teams are not profitable at all, never have been, because he basically sold to sponsors. He's got sponsors on all of his podcasts that he no longer partakes in, most of them, because he stepped back. He has all of his Twitch donations. He streams on YouTube, so he has some of those donations coming in. He has all of his subs donating money. So, like, could you imagine one day just, yeah, if I stream for an hour and a half, 2 hours here, I'll make $5,000-$6,000 easy over the span of a couple hours. Now, of course, you'll end up paying taxes in the back end because the government's going to get exactly what they want out of it. But in the grand scheme of things, I have to work almost 4 weeks to make $5,000 to $6,000, and that's on like regular time. I can make that amount in like a 2 week period, but I have to literally work 14 days making about 80, 90 hours worth of overtime. So it's a lot. So I'm going to hunker down. I'm going to start working on kind of filling this out and building it a little bit and stop talking for a moment, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to All right, I'm back. Now, I've somewhat made a decision, somewhat, and kind of maybe moving forward, but I'm not too convinced on what we're doing. So, we'll just kind of have to keep going to see exactly where I want to go with it, and if I want to pursue it any further, though I don't think I will. So kind of modeling this after the glass that was inside that kind of sits over top of the honey buzzard. Doing that, right? And then what I should do is am I editing what I should be? I'm not editing what I should be, and that isn't good because that means that none of that is actually on what I needed to be, and that sucks because now I have to do this and submodel move to top, and it disappears. I press show all, and it's going to crash everything. Yes, of course it is. Nope, we're good. And then I need to just hide these two things so Studio doesn't even need to worry about rendering them. And then I need to go to here, and I need to press edit so that I'm actually working on this. I'm still getting used to futzing with it a little bit. As much of a pain as in the ass as it really is. Alright, so now then we get all this out of my way, and then we get all the bullets out the way. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do that. Maybe we just do this, and I highlight just that, what I need. Alright, so that is 58 studs long, and then we take 4 off, so we do 54 studs total. I'll open this up, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. So it's going to open. Still waiting. I don't even think I've updated Part Designer. It's been begging me to update it, and I just haven't done it. Kind of need to do it, but I haven't. Kind of been lazy. I'm going to stream until about 10 o'clock. I think 10 o'clock is a solid cutoff time before I go piss off and do something where I don't have to be, in front of a camera talking, basically. Relaxing is what I'm probably going to end up doing after that. And also getting half naked. That's like the worst thing about streaming is that you're not able to be fucking half naked. Window glass and shutter. And then I need to find, and this was the hard part for me to do last time I looked at this, there is a piece of glass somewhere, I think it was this one, that has the rounded edges. Yeah, it's this one. Alright, so we know that stud-wise, it's 10 studs wide. I don't want to do 10. So we'll do 4.4s this way. So 1.8 has to be this way. So we're going to do 9.5 wide, and that will cover the side to side. And then I said 54 for it because we're taking some of the edges off of that. Now then the problem with that is how sharp of an edge this is already. If we do, let's just do 54 and see where we get, and then 0.2 is fine for the thickness. Press this, and we press export to studio, glass, ammo, and we press export, and don't click enter because enter didn't actually do what I needed it to do. Successfully exported, so then we press OK, then we switch back over to studio, and we go to here, and we go to custom parts, and we crash studio even more because now I'm loading custom data. Studio does not like this, or my laptop doesn't like this, I should say. It's probably the CPU being fried on the inside of this thing. And then we find what I named it, glass ammo. Glass starts with a G. Glass ammo right here. You click on that, and it comes out. Click on it, and nothing comes out. We try again. Put this down, and then we kind of get it somewhat close, and then this is when we start the negling. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, I think gets me touching there, which is way off on this side, so if we kind of come there-ish, maybe. I don't think it's short enough here. If we just drop this in, how bad does it stick out? That's centered-ish on there. Somewhat centered-ish on there. You know, it's not like the worst in the world, and it's going to be transparent. So might be okay with that. So then if we come here and find trans clear, make that clear. Now we can see the ammunition that's stacked up inside this, right? And then, okay, this is a problem. What happened? Okay, it's there. Woof! Got worried because if you press show all, this red here disappears, and I got worried. Hopefully when we render that, that pops up. So, all of that said, right now on the inside of that is not a lot. I think there's only like 152, if I'm remembering the math correctly, on the inside of that. And the problem with that is 360 is combat load. So even if we double what we currently have inside of this, we're not reaching full combat load. We're only reaching 300 of it. which I kind of want to reach full combat load, but you know, we'll see. All right, so other part to this, right now, with these ammunition containers on top, right? I am not thoroughly impressed with the way that it looks. I kind of thought that it was going to look better than what it currently does. Wow, my leg hurts moving it like that. Don't know why. So we have a chance to redeem it by kind of making a ridge that connects all of this together. That's the only thing that I can think of that would make this redeemable, like, at all. So I was thinking, let's get away from the custom parts and just go back to main. That slope piece that I found before, we open up slope, we scroll down, we grab the bottle. This piece here. So to get this to line up where I want it to, what we're going to end up doing is just coming here, press L, press V, click on this, drag this back over. This now gets recognized as being able to be placed here. Place this here, grab this, let it load, press show all. That one piece comes back in, we grab this, and we move this outwards to here. And the problem with that, from the looks of it, is that, oh, no, maybe not. How long is this? This is 2x8. So if we grab here an actual 2x8, place that right there. That fits. Okay. All right, that's better than what I thought it was going to be. All right, and then we come up here and we grab these. Not that I really give much of a shit because it's not legal anyways. Technically, from side to side, if we do this the rest of the way, this would be prevented, the lid part, which is separate and built sideways, would be prevented from moving side to side. There's nothing to prevent it from moving front to back, but, you know, who gives a fuck? I don't. I'm doing this to enjoy and have fun. So, alright, now then. We know that this was pushed into here. This was where we had this going out. So, the distance between point A and point B, we're really hoping is the distance of like a 16. And the answer is it's longer than a 16. So if 16 bridges the gap perfectly from point A to point B, right? So one there and then one here. That means the distance is 14, and they don't make 14s in tiles or that, but they do make 14s in plates. So if we come over here and we slap a plate here, right, and we press show all to get this one piece to come back in, and then we pop this on over, pop, go a little bit of gap, bring it back down, that'll be the one. And then 14 divided by 2 is 7. Finding pieces to make that happen isn't going to happen. So let's just drop this on down so that we have a base to work with. I want to say that's touching. So if we do 6 and 6, there's going to be a 2 in the middle, but we also have the power of technology, right? So we have these large panels. Where is, there's a 6 version of like this. It's not on here. Is it considered a panel? No, probably. Question mark. Okay. All right. I'm almost positive there's a 6 version of that they used to use on like old fire station sets and police station sets, but maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. I mean, I figured Studio of all places would have it more than any other spot. Just to make this even, I'll move that over and we'll just split that one piece into 2 pieces. I don't really want to because I wanted to try to reduce parts like as much as possible, but yeah. Alright, so these are 3 high, right? These are also 3 high, so this negates this, which means I need to put 2 more of these. Actually, I just need to do 3 and then flatten it out with this. So we should just do, where's the 6s? Let's just take a 6. That's not a 6, let's just take a 6. Let's grab a 2x6 because we're being smart about our parts usage. Instead of using 2 parts, we just use the 1. Instead of using 2 parts, we just use the 1, and we save ourselves 4 parts instantly. And if I didn't want it to be even, we could just switch this out for a 2x8, and we'd switch 5 parts in total, but here's what it is. And then this has been, it's up to like 1 more stud, so if we just drop plates across the top of this, that'll be that. So if we go to tile, there's a 2x6 tile that we're going to put right in the middle of this to reinforce it, even though it doesn't fucking matter because nobody's ever building this in their life. Place it there, place that there. So now we have like a little bit of edge shaping going on here with some connection in between. I don't think I will be filling up anything in between this, but if I had to, I could. Though I don't, like I said, I just don't think I will. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use indexing for duplication purposes. So basically, what that means is, since I know that all of these are symmetrical, they're equivalent to one another. I know that the differences, the gaps in between all of them are equivalent to one another. I can index where this goes based off of a relative part to somewhere else. So I just deleted all of these because that's what we'll be using. So because this is not connected to anything, we can come up here, we can press the by connected. We can click this, all of that is connected. We then come to our regular, no, not by connect, sorry, our regular default select. We press command and then we press this. So now when we copy and paste this, we'll also have this piece, and that's going to, motherfucker, I pressed V instead of command C. Fuck me. Now we're going to redo that. Alright, by connected, click on this, V, command, click, command C, command V. Now we get all of this. We place this there. That does that. This one is not in the middle, so this one's good. Place this there. And then now, for this one, it's a little different, right? So we need to take this, grab it, press copy and mirror, grab this part, Command C, bring this up, place this here, Command V, place this up, and Command V, bring this on over as well. So now all of that is done. Delete that out. So now you basically have most of it kind of done. You didn't have to go through and like individually lay all that out. Like this, it saved a lot of time just by indexing it off of certain things. So now then, same exact principle for the end down here to try to get the pieces where they need to go. We find the 1x4, click it, Command, 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 Command. We press copy and mirror. We take this piece and we scroll on down till we get to here, and we press that. All right, and then now that is done front-wise. Like all of that now does what it needs to do, right? So now obviously we need to do what we just did here, but we need to do it back here. So in order to do that, we're going to use the same kind of indexing method, but we're going to cheat just a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to do by connected. We're going to click on this. We're going to come here, and we're going to say, I want you to be rubber blue. We're going to do this, and we're going to rubber blue. And we're going to switch all of these colors to rubber blue for everything that we want to copy and move over, right? So all of this is going to be rubber blue. All of this is going to be rubber blue. Now, we are going to use the same piece for indexing, but we're going to turn it around, which means it's going to technically go here on this one. So we delete that out. We come here. We press this button. We select by color. Rubber blue is the color. We press V to go back to normal. We press Command to select this. And then we press copy. And we flip this on around. And as previously stated, this is going to go on this side because we flipped it 180 degrees. So we place that in. And now we can get rid of this because it automatically duplicated it once more. And now you have both done on both sides. So now then I do want to add another one, right? Now we know the exact center of this is where this one plate is, which puts it right here. We know that this is the center because there's an even number here. There's 4 of the 1x5 posts. There's 4 of the 1x5 posts. There's a brick. There's a brick. This is the exact center. This piece here marks where the center is. So what we're going to do in order to kind of just line this up where we want it is switch this, sorry, not by color, by connected. Grab this, and we're going to switch this back to that bright orange color so that we're only left with one side of it being in blue. You know, I technically, now that I'm thinking about it, right, I could probably just press Control V and paste in the old ones of this that's blue and just grab it and just delete the end of it out, but I've already committed. So we do by color, we click on this, we press Control C. Now, pressing Control V, it's going to be fucking whack. Like, it's just going to go where the fuck it wants to go. So, in order to get this to go where we need it to go, we need to give it a little persuasion. So, if we come around here, could be, we come down here, we just fucking move it out the way for right now, because fuck it. Wait, what am I doing? We don't need to move it out the way. Idiot. Put that back. All we need to do, actually, is select by color. Make that disappear. Make that disappear because we might as well. Press V to go back to regular. Grab a plate. We're going to make this plate somewhat long just to give it enough room to bite into. We're going to place this here. And then we're going to press Control V. We get this. We're going to pick up at this section because that's where our mouse is going to register. And we're going to place that right there. We're going to grab that plate and get rid of it. We'll press Show All. And now we have everything. So now we're going to select by color and fill that out back into that bright light orange. So, is that a little better than what it was? A little bit. I think it looks a little bit better. So we'll press Command S. Sorry. That'll save it. Alright, so that is that, technically, right? Now, if we just real quick go over this just one more time, just to make sure that my count and my math is mathing accurately in my semi-inebriated state. And then we hide this real quick, just to make sure. I'm pretty sure it's 152. It's 152, right? So we have 152 rounds in this one. I can copy and paste that over to here, and that makes 304. I need 360, but I also don't want to fill up a whole nother one just without shit in it. So if we do assault rifle, assault rifle, assault rifle, pistol's probably going to fill up in one of these because the amount of pistol rounds that we use is not a lot in the grand scheme of things. Shotgun rounds here and 40mm rounds here, then I've got 2 full open containers worth in between all of that I don't particularly have a need for, right? Which kind of complicates things somewhat. I don't really know what to do about that. Oh, sorry. I also don't know if I really like this part so far. All this work that we did could be like erased in a matter of seconds when I get this all together and close it down and realize that I don't like the way it looks and I just nuke it from the face of the earth because I don't like it. You know, I probably should have checked if the shotgun shells were even going to fit in this. 3, let's take a look here real quick. Studs, that's real.pl. Cannot be reached, question mark. Let's just type in Lego unit converter. Lego unit converter. And then we click on it. Huh. There's a typo. But there's not a typo. Let's just, maybe this one will. How much is blank studs? What? What the fuck are we? What is this unit converter? How much is inches? How much is 3 inches? It is 9.52, which I think is too long. I want to say, so now technically, right, 3-inch Magnum shells are like not what most people want. Technically, 2.75 is what most people want. 2 3/4, which is 8.73. The problem with that is we know that the width of the walls is 10, which means if this is a brick and this is a brick, in between it is 8. And 2 3/4 shells are running 8.7. So that's too long. So if we lay the shotgun shells down on their side, the same exact way we have everything else set up currently, they are not going to work the way that we need them to because they are too long. Which is a problem. I don't even know if the 40 millimeters are short enough as well. So we're dealing with like bullshit at this point. Damn, dude, what do I do about that? Suffer, I guess. Yeah, we have some interesting problems because I want. At this point, if we have 150 here, we have 150 there, we make 300. If I add another 150, we're at 450, and I'm technically over combat load, which I guess would be like a good thing, right? Having more ammunition to be able to replenish your combat load would be good. The problem with that is then I also need to go over my combat load for the pistol, and I don't really know how much we're going to go over for the pistol. I feel like it's going to be way, way more overloaded on the pistol side than it is for the rifle side. The rifle side is 100% going to take up way more room than the pistol. And then I still need to shove in grenades into this for the Bicol seal. And I also need to shove in shotgun shells for the R&B 93. Which is... yeah, sorry. Still, I think that's still going to leave me with the 2 middle ones empty. I don't foresee those getting full. And I don't really want to move this, because if I move this whole part right now to see what it looks like all closed up, it's going to shit itself. It's going to die, which isn't good. So why don't we, since we're here, let's just index the lid part where it needs to go. So same thing, we come through, we delete all of these out. Very simple. Be gone. Adios. No one really wants this. Go away. And then we come back over to the far side, and we're going to press by connected. Now, it gets a little complicated because by connected is only going to do edit. I hate when that happens. Back up here. By connected, it's only going to do half of this, and then we press Command to do the other half. We switch to V to grab the glass while holding Command, and Command again to grab our index point. Control C, Control the, and then that's going to give us a lid. And now we're going to come through. We're going to slap on our lids, stomach itches. Now this is indexing in the same exact way that our first one did, so this is all going to go exactly where it needs to. Because it will match up with the other one. And then the last one will go just like that. And now we have our top semi-done. It's a lot. I don't know. But I also have to tell myself a lot when working on art, not that this is art, that I have to trust the process and I need to get through it so that I can see all of it and see how I feel about it. And I don't know. I just don't know. I really don't. Like, I don't know if I want to just duplicate the case shape and just make it thin and just start laying bullets down so that it's real flat, or if I want to keep this kind of ammo box kind of look where they're stacked on top of one another, staggered back and forth. I still haven't considered how to auto-load magazines yet. Like if there's a port that you just rock and lock a magazine into. Haven't really thought about that. Which I kind of need to think about. Like how do you make an operator's life easy? The operator is going to have large, thick space gloves on because they're operating in space. They're going to have some type of spacesuit, unless they're a tactical doll from like Girls Frontline, in which case it doesn't really matter. But they're going to have these big, bulky gloves. And the Beluga line, you know what? I just realized I don't think I cut the Honey Badger's thing. I don't know if I cut the Honey Buzzard's trigger guard like all the other ones did. Man, that's going to be so awkward because all these rifles are designed to be manipulated using like super thick gloves. So if I did not cut the Honey Buzzard's trigger guard, that's like #1 thing I should be doing. Anyhow, so if they're wearing these giant bulky gloves, how are you gonna be able to get the feeling in your fingertips to hold the magazine, grab a round, pick it up, push it in, push it in, push it in, right? You're just going to have these big, thick gloves that are going to prevent you. So as you're pushing them on top of these speed lips over here, you're just like jamming your glove in and you can't get the round to see. So how do we auto-load magazines? Like the first thing that I'm thinking about is that underneath all of this round storage that we're looking at right now, the orange stuff on top of the dark red, is some type of mechanical system that ferries bullets from point A to point B. Kind of similar to the previous one that I did, box-wise. Maybe there's a hole and just shove stuff in the hole. But then it's not as automated, it just kind of sucks. So it should still be automated as much as possible to make the life of the user even easier. And then if they're in a pinch, they could just drop the magazine in and let it load up to 30 while they fight off a threat or something. Lean over, grab the mag, put it in the gun, put the empty mag in, and watch it do its thing. You know what I could do? I could maybe do a 3D printing type thing. So I canceled a project from like earlier this month, um, and I don't know if it's going to even open or not. But if we come to, I think I shove everything into SR3M, which I still haven't completed. Yeah, RPD, this one. There's a cylinder here. Now the cylinder is bulky, is one thing. But we could go back to the flatter one, though. Let's just quit out of Part Designer because I think I'm good with that for right now. And I'm glad I didn't get impatient because this actually loaded. So let's just open this up. So I was thinking back to like the lore in my head about the whole Star Path unit and everything, and was thinking about like this futuristic warfare and everything. And obviously the first thing that comes to mind is Infinity Ward's Advanced Warfare and the IMR from that game specifically, where it's this gun where it's got this gas canister on it and it 3D prints its own ammunition. Like thing of the future, because then you have unlimited ammo, right? In quotation marks. Loved it, loved the idea. So what I ended up coming up with was this RPD. Now this RPD was being kind of modeled in the same type of way that all the rest of the line of weapons are. So it has the updated joint mass suppressor unit. Sorry. Joint Mass Driver Suppressor Unit, JMDSU. So that's the longer one. It's got the grip off of the Emperor Goose. It's got the stock off the Emperor Goose. I'm trying to standardize on a set of batteries to feed the electronics on these things. So this one uses 2 of the Emperor Goose batteries, but it's like battery / coolant. So I don't really know yet. Like I haven't even decided lore-wise exactly what they are. I want to say it's coolant, but you know, never know. And then I put this thing on it, and I was kind of like leaning towards this being like a 3D printer factory for bullets that and like just run a tube out and into this feed tray over here. Similar to like the Dingo from Black Ops 3, that has this like tray that comes up into it. I guess if you want a real world comparison, like the minigun, where the bullets like feed along that track. And I like stopped because this project isn't really like kind of vibing with me. The barrel is like a little too high for this suppressor unit, so I'd have to like to make it look right. I have to build kind of the same type of powered rail type system up here that is on everything else that's currently in this line. And I haven't done it. I don't know if I will do it because I don't know if I actually want to finish this or not. I also kind of thought about it a little bit because the RPD was built as its own dedicated light machine gun platform. The RPK Emperor Goose overlaps pretty heavily with the RPD, and I'm adding another style of magazine for logistics, right? And the whole point of the RPK in conjunction with the AK-47 is that the person running the light machine gun has compatibility with the rest of the people in the squad for ammunition and magazines. Now, the RPK is going to usually run drum mags instead of stick mags so that they have heavier volumes of fire in it. It's going to have a bipod and a heavy barrel on it so that they're able to lay down those heavy volumes of fire But at the same time, if they ever run out of ammunition in their drum mags, another squad member could take one of their AK-47 mags, hand it to the RPK gunner. The RPK gunner gets the RPK back up and running, because at the end of the day, suppression is huge in warfare. So I wanted to retain that kind of magazine compatibility, which is why my first instinct for a dedicated light machine gun for StarPath was an RPK instead of the RPD. And then I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself and started developing the RPD as a 3D printer that you would put on a point defense mount, so like at a checkpoint or a security stop, something important. And because it's mounted on a tripod, it doesn't matter how much energy it uses for the whole 3D printing thing, and you can just blast 100 rounds, and then maybe it prints like around the minute. So then, you wait a minute, you get one more round, and it just never ends. I don't know. Point being, the canister on this was supposed to be a magazine, but I'm curious if like I pull it off and I kind of slap it in between a couple things and call it a day, maybe. So I guess I should have measured how big the canister was. No, it's got to be bigger than 14 studs, right? It's got to be. It's got to be bigger than 14 studs, because those round things have to be 10 or 12 studs a piece. And if it's bigger than 14 studs, it's not going to fit in between the ammunition canisters that are there. But I could also just mount ammunition canisters up here, those giant circle things, and shove rounds into those, and then you open that like a kit almost. Yeah, there's like a lot to think about. All right, let's go back to the RPD and let's grab that magazine. It's going to clear out your sinuses. Like if you were sick, this spiced rum specifically it's not hot. It's just spiced. But it's spiced so well. I've got maybe 18 minutes left in the stream. I've got bread and bologna sitting beside me that I need to go put back in the fridge. And it's getting somewhat late. I did work today. Thank God. I have tomorrow off. Just thank God. So, yeah, so if we just slap this on here, the problem that I'm already seeing is it's too wide, which we already knew because we did the math kind of mentally beforehand, right? About all of that. So we could develop some type of mounting system to mount this thing, right in here, in between it. And then we delete everything that we've worked on in the stream off the model, which has happened before on my end, because I'm a very picky person. So like we mount this here, right? Did it again. Hold on, let me move this over so that's actually centered. I want to say that that's 14. So there it is. That's actually centered. So if we mount that there, we come up. I believe that's touching, so I believe that's where it would be. We mount the canister here, right? And we develop some type of bracket system for it, right? and then it opens similar to batteries from like Apex Legends, where you grab the top, you twist it, and like you can slowly pull it out, right? If we do that, there's no way of, man, I don't know, because so I'm thinking I want to still have this dedicated auto loader for everything, right? And if I have these containers that aren't removable, that don't just open up like a shield bat where you slide it out and like a blooming onions open with like a whole bunch of rounds of ammunition there, right? How would you integrate an auto loading feature into that as these giant circle drums? Now, the giant circle drums are probably going to look better than the orange mess that is currently in front of you, right? It just set this off to the side for right now. It's a lot to think about because I want it to look good and I want it to be somewhat practical, and that's kind of hard to do at the same exact time because I'm doing something that isn't standard. Like, this is not charted territory. Like, as far as I'm aware, no one else has done this. I'm going to Command S this to save it, where we do not lose our progress. Man, who would have known the depressant is being a depressant? I have a lot to think about. And because I have a lot to think about, I think now is a good time to end the stream. I'm 10 minutes off of where I kind of said I was going to be, 13 minutes off of where I said I was going to be. I am worried about the bologna. I am slightly worried about the bread. I know it's bologna, it's meat, it needs to be frozen. The bread is bread, but the bread doesn't really need to be like put back in the fridge. But I do feel like I need to like actually get up and put them away. So I think that this is a good spot to end the actual stream itself, so that we're good. I mean, 2 hours and 30 minutes isn't bad. Like, I didn't do much in that amount of time, but we're not bad. So, thank you guys for watching. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. See you guys later, and another YouTube video some other time.